Create clarity in a simple way. What do you want right now? It's so easy to trick your mind. The stories fall apart very quickly if you really start to get into your ego stories. It's like, if I'm not in integrity with myself, then what is my worth? So this starts by just, what is that sense of direction? What do you want? Self-worth and sense of direction, which one comes first? So I received this fantastic question. I feel like it's a chicken or the egg scenario. Does having clarity, purpose, and clear direction lead you to see your worth? Or do you need to know your worth before you have clarity and direction? I really love this question because this can seem really confusing, right? Which one is it? And this is often just like when a person experiences depression, for example. If you've experienced being really down, as most of us have, most people have experienced depression on some level, depending on level of intensity, but most of us have. When you don't want to get out of bed, when you just can't, and then you're there waiting for that motivation, that inspiration, like, oh, when I have to feel like it to do it, right? But the truth is, it never gets, you never get it, okay? You have to make yourself, like, you have to force yourself to get out of bed. So then you create that momentum so that you then feel motivated by doing that next step with more motivation because of that momentum. And it's the same thing with this. We feel like we're going to, it's like, I have to feel worthy to have that clarity, to have that sense of direction, to move forward, right? And it doesn't come. You have to just do it. And then once you begin to do this, once you begin going towards what you want, creating that which you want, then you're going to have that feeling of worthiness. And therefore, you're going to be able to create that with more momentum. Okay? I hope this makes sense. So when this is a chicken before the egg, but we have to choose which one we want to go for first. Do we want to go with the chicken? Do we want to go with the egg? And I'm going to give you guys some of the tips and the practical ways in which you can do this, because I know this is a heavy one, and I've had several clients reach out to me this week. It seems to be like the theme of the week about this lack of clarity or not feeling deserving of that which we want. So let's start with the sense of direction. This is something that, again, actually they go hand in hand, because this is something that the first thing that I do with a client is really learning how to build self-trust, because a lot of this is that there's that sense of worthiness because we don't show up for ourselves. We don't feel like, I've got me, I love me, I trust me. So therefore that self-worth is very low, right? It's like, if I'm not in integrity with myself, then what is my worth? So this starts by just, what is that sense of direction? What do you want? There's this meme going around, something like, follow your dreams. Yesterday I wanted a taco and today I'm eating one. I'm living my life. I'm living the dream. It's funny, but it's also true. So what are those little things that you can commit to? Like, this is really what I want, and this is what I'm going to follow through on. And that's how I'm going to show myself, like, I've got me and I trust me and I show up for me. And therefore your self-worth will improve from those small action steps. And then once you start doing those little small action steps, you're going to be able to really choose that sense of direction, that purpose for the long run. You'll be able to trust yourself more, because it's like any relationship, anything you do, it's like, it's the little things that matter. It's those little slip-ups that can break a whole relationship, right? It's those little, like, not showing up. And it's the same within. This is about all of life is about your relationship with yourself. So if you're there for the little things, if you're present with yourself, if you're showing up in those little ways, it'll be so much easier to show up in the bigger ways, to make those long-term goals, long-term plans. This is what I want for my life. This is what my vision is. So this can begin by just first create clarity in a simple way. What do you want right now? Right? Create clarity around, what do you want your day to be like? What are your targets for the day? What do you want to accomplish? How can you show up for yourself? And this is one that I recommend that really worked for me and several clients. Ask yourself 2 questions every day. What can I give myself in terms of self-love? Like, what will light me up? And then what is it that I don't want to do? That's what's uncomfortable, but that will guarantee expansion. So you're showing up to yourself in these two ways. You're just spoiling and loving yourself, and that self-worth goes up because of this. Like, wow, I'm really there for myself. I really love myself. Okay, the self-care. And it's also the other one that like my self-worth is going up because I'm accomplishing something. Like, I'm going for what I want. I'm doing this thing that's uncomfortable. So you're really showing up for yourself in terms of that feminine of just love and compassion, embrace, and just receiving from yourself. And you're going in that masculine direction of I'm accomplishing something, I'm doing this uncomfortable thing, but I'm growing, I'm expanding. Okay, so start with the little thing, and then you'll see how that self-worth will follow as well. Now, going from the self-worth thing, it's just like affirmations. We say them at the beginning without believing them at all. In fact, it feels like complete BS oftentimes, right? Like, if you don't feel self-love and you're there like, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I really don't feel it, but I'm gonna say that I love myself, and like I'm gonna smile through it even though this sounds really fake. After a while, your mind begins to believe it, and it's so easy to trick your mind. The stories fall apart very quickly if you really start to get into your ego stories. They don't hold up on anything, and your mind is easy to trick just with the physiology. It's easy to trick with repetition and affirmations. This is why so many people are miserable, because we have the news, we just have these things that are just repetitive over and over again, and it's just as simple as switching it to another environment, right? If you just soak your brain in, I don't know, listening to motivational speakers or spiritual teachers instead for like a week, you're going to be a completely different person. So the self-worth can also be manipulated in this way, just, you know, and I just straightened my back to give an example, because when we're depressed, for example, right, we're like that. Our chin is down, the shoulders are kind of inward. It's as simple as just being really mindful that you're communicating to your mind, shoulders back, chin up. And there's actually research that, you know, people are more successful in, I think it was even like, I think it was lawyers or doctors, something like that, some important job, that they would be a lot more productive and would have better results when they would go into the Superman pose right before like an important meeting or an important thing they had to do, because that just creates confidence in your body. Like, you feel really strong, you feel really confident. It's that easy. That's self-worth. Like, just understanding this one point, your self-worth and your performance of something will change just because you stand like this for a few minutes. That's how easy your mind is to trick. It's just about deciding, I want to be unstuck. I want to be happy. I want to be this best, most powerful version of myself. So the self-worth can just start from that. Are you committed to having high self-worth? Like, I feel really good about myself. It can begin with affirmations. And again, once you start doing that, then from this place, you're going to be like, okay, I have a really clear sense of direction. This is what I want. So yes, it is absolutely a chicken before an egg. Do you want to start with the egg, or do you want to start with the chicken? Let me know which one seems easier to you, either in the comments or DM me. I would love to hear, what is that for you? Do you feel like it's easier for you to start with those little goals and creating that sense of direction and, like, I want to say, like, fake clarity, like the little things, and then adjusting that accordingly? Or do you feel like it's easier for you to first focus on your self-worth and, like, how can I give myself more, or how can I start with affirmations or changing how my body feels? Let me know what that is, and I'm wishing you guys a very powerful day. And of course, this is something I do. This is something that's so much easier to do once you have somebody guiding you. So if this is something that you want to work on one-on-one, reach out to me and we can see how we can work together.